This year, the Florida Citrus Bowl in Orlando plays host to 8 championship games over the span of 8 days. Tonight, it's the Class 5A final. Unbeaten Osceola High School from nearby Kissimmee, Florida, takes on a 7-time runner-up in the 5A final, St. Thomas Aquinas, out of Fort Lauderdale. It's the 2007 Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. The Raiders and the Cowboys live from the Citrus Bowl here on Sun Sports. Happy holidays. Welcome to the Florida Citrus Bowl. Whit Watson alongside Brady Ackerman for the Class 5A final. Interesting matchup. Osceola hasn't been this far in nearly 10 years, Brady. It seems like every year St. Thomas Aquinas gets this far, but they've got a different kind of history to worry about.
St. Thomas trying to vanquish the ghosts from the past 3 seasons in losses to Lakeland High School, while Osceola tries to win its first state championship since 1998.
Let's take a look at the running game first for Osceola, a potential record-breaking running back for the Cowboys.
Well, the Cowboys have the flex bone offense, and to do that, you got to have a guy who can tote the rock, and his name is Bubba Brown. 2 touchdowns tonight will tie the state single-season rushing record. He'll carry the load for the Cowboys on the ground tonight.
St. Thomas Aquinas can run it a little bit as well, and their feature back, a guy that you may recall from last year's Class 5A championship game.
The Raiders are a more balanced attack than Osceola, but they will run the football. Jeremiah Harden, 174 yards in last year's state title game, brings back that experience as a dual threat in the backfield tonight for St. Thomas.
Can St. Thomas Aquinas snap a 3-year losing streak in the championship game? Can Osceola continue its perfect season? Answers dead ahead in the Class 5A final.
Play hard, play smart, play physical. We've been here, we know what we're supposed to do. Let's get that monkey off our back. You go out there and do what you're supposed to do, take care of business, play hard every single play, wrap up number 1, get physical, get after it, and let's take care of business. All right, let's go.
Yes, sir. We are 14-0. We are the #1 team in 5A. Tonight, we will prove it to them every step. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't want to do that, get in the locker room and don't come out. If you're ready to play football, hit somebody in their mouth. Hey, let me hit it one time. Y'all boys.
When it's hot, available at Dick's Sporting Goods, your Under Armour headquarters. Cold gear when it's cold, available at Dick's Sporting Goods, your Under Armour headquarters.
Yeah.
My bill was really high this month. Can you help me figure out what I did wrong?
Absolutely. Say blah, 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 blah. There's nothing there. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, look, see, here's your problem right here.
What?
You talk too much.
Talk all you want for $35 a month. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Unlimit yourself.
Celebrate the holidays and get up to $50 off any Samsung phone when you sign up for Metro PCS service.
There's no place like Florida for the holidays, and no place like Bells to make your season bright. Give the Florida lifestyle. Bells.
Let's play Stump the Monkey.
Okay, you have 3 minutes to answer the question at stumpthemonkey.com. Tell them what they'll win, Bob.
Get the correct answer and qualify for a $40,000 prize. Get at Horizon Homes. Horizon Homes sets a standard for excellence and value for both custom and affordable housing.
Wow, here we go. What was Michael Jackson advertising when he was nearly killed? A, Coke. B, Neverland Ranch. C, Pepsi. Now go to stumpthemonkey.com with the correct answer to qualify. You have 3 minutes.
Sunday Night Hoop snaps into focus.
First, resurgent Florida State takes on ACC rival Georgia Tech. Then, Tyler Hansbrough leads national title contender North Carolina against Valparaiso. Sunday Night Hoops, presented by Pizza Hut, this week on FSN.
The Dodge FHSAA Finals, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, is brought to you by Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge. Grab life. Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. Bells. Give the Florida lifestyle. Bells. Metro PCS. Unlimit yourself. A beautiful night in Orlando, Florida. The Florida Citrus Bowl is the site of the Class 5A championship game, the FHSAA Finals. St. Thomas Aquinas of Fort Lauderdale against Osceola of nearby Kissimmee. Whit Watson, Brady Ackerman upstairs at the Citrus Bowl. The third member of our team tonight is Terry Norvell.
Whit, Brady, big story on the Osceola sideline. It revolves around the quarterback position. Starting quarterback to Sharvin Bell injured his knee last week. He is out. He is not dressed. He is on crutches. Will not play tonight. Now, what does Osceola do? They turn to their middle linebacker, of course. How about sophomore Mark Dees? He will play quarterback tonight. He did get one start earlier this year due to a shoulder injury suffered by Bell. Dees went over 130 yards rushing, so he's got one game under his belt. But as I mentioned, he also plays linebacker. Look for Dees to be on the field some 100 plays playing both ways. And guys, even Superman himself, Tim Tebow, never pulled that off. A little quarterback linebacker for the sophomore tonight. Guys, back to you.
Dees came in and led 3 touchdown drives in relief of Bell in the semifinals. The head coach at St. Thomas Aquinas is George Smith, and he has been there forever. That is actually Osceola's head coach, Jeff Rolson, who is 40 years old in his second season as the head coach. As you take a look at Osceola's head coach, we'll show you the road for St. Thomas Aquinas. They beat Pompano Beach Ely in the regional quarters, Fort Lauderdale's Dillard in the regional semis, then Palm Bay and Largo in the state semis. They have not allowed more than 2 touchdowns in the postseason. That, on the other hand, is George Smith in his 31st season at St. Thomas Aquinas. He will match wits with Rolson tonight. The Raiders have been to the state championship game 10 times. They are 3-7 in the final round. Champions in 1992, 97, and in 1999. The Cowboys of Kissimmee. That's Cowboys with a K in honor of the town of Kissimmee. They're about 20 miles away from campus here at the Citrus Bowl, but they are not making the shortest trip to the finals this year. That honor belongs to Boone High School in the 6A final. They will come 3 miles from their campus to the Citrus Bowl Saturday night to play Northwestern in the 6A final. Deep back to receive for the Osceola Cowboys will be Akeem Daniels and Momo Thomas. Thomas wears number 3. He's the team's top receiver. Daniels wearing number 2. St. Thomas Aquinas, white shirts, gold pants, gold helmets, moving left to right. The Cowboys, blue on blue with a gold dome, moving right to left. And the Class 5A championship game is underway in Orlando. That is into the end zone and automatically a touchback in the high school game. So that's where Mark Dees and the Osceola Cowboys will start. Now again, as Terry Norvell just explained, Dees is not the starter. Tasharvin Bell is the senior. Dees is a sophomore. These were his numbers last week against Jacksonville's Bartram Trail, but more importantly, he did lead 3 touchdown drives and managed the game as Osceola beat that team from Jacksonville in overtime by 6.
If Osceola is going to win tonight, he won't throw it more than 4 times. He must turn around, direct it, run the ball, and run this offense.
Osceola primarily is a running team. Dees on the keeper to the left to start things off, and positive yardage, a 5-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down. We'll take a look at the offensive starters for the Cowboys of Kissimmee. Osceola High School, Quamaine Brown, they call him Bubba. We'll call him Bubba as well. Gerard Thomas, they call him Momo. We'll call him Momo as well. Emmanuel Fitzpatrick and Helliger making up the backs and receivers. Pate and Hall, Salvatore and Archer and Burgess on the offensive line.
The flex bone offense, a version of the wing tee, a version of the option. They have everything in place today. This will be their #1 formation, double slot.
2nd and 4 from the 26. The turn and the give to Daniels. Not much doing. Correction, it was Thomas on the carry, and the stop made by Connor O'Neill, the linebacker for St. Thomas Aquinas. Let's take a look at that lineup. It's brought to you by Bell's. Christopher Eterno, Daniel Reeves, William Nessel, Chase Gainey, and Daniel Doherty up front. Thompson and Graham, the linebackers. And when they go to that nickel look, O'Neill, Gillis, Williams, and Carr are the defensive backs for the Raiders of St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale. 3rd and 3 for Osceola. Give it to the short back, and looked like they got enough for the first down. Brown on the carry. It was the other Brown, Brandon Brown, who wears number 5, 6'2", 195. He's a senior. Bubba Brown is also a senior, wearing number 1. He is the leading rusher on this team, and as we talked about at the top of the show, number 1 needs just 3 touchdowns to break a state record, currently held by Anton Smith, who's now at Florida State, and the late Sean Taylor. 1st and 10, and a timeout is called by Mark Dees. While we have a moment, let's check out the Nike keys to the game.
Well, let's begin with Osceola and that running attack. They've got to get the ground game going. I think they've got to have 200 yards. And you look at Bubba Brown, he averages 19 carries a game. I think he's got to get 20 tonight if they're going to win. You got to avoid self-inflicted wounds. That doesn't mean turnovers as much as it means penalties, holding calls, things that set your offense behind the chains. For St. Thomas, their keys tonight, the victory brought to you by Nike. Get the big plays in the passing game. I mentioned Harden is running, but this is a very, very skilled wide receiver group coached by future Hall of Famer Chris Carter. They've got big plays in the passing game and win special teams. They're an outstanding kickoff return team. They're an outstanding punt return team.
Yeah, Chris Carter's son, Deron Carter, is on the roster for head coach George Smith, who was named one of the top 12 coaches all time as part of the FHSAA's Century of High School Football celebration this weekend here in the state of Florida. 1st and 10, handoff goes to Thomas. And Thomas is upended. Athletic play by Jeremy Williams, the defensive back, a 5'8", 170-pound senior who streams in to make the tackle.
One of the things you'll see early in the football game was such a tight formation by the Cowboys and bringing in the double slots and bringing guys in is that St. Thomas will bring more guys into the box. That's why Jeremy Williams, a corner who's normally out on an island, is right there at the line of scrimmage and can make a great play in the backfield.
Loss of 2, ball's on the 28. The turn and the give again to Thomas. Thomas with some room. Correction, it's Brown. Bubba Brown with a first down and finally dragged down inside the 20. They go to Bubba Brown, and he rips off a huge gainer, stretching the field and putting the Cowboys inside the St. Thomas Aquinas 20-yard line.
He gets a good kick-out block right there from Momo, and then he comes inside of it and uses his speed. Bubba Brown getting into the open field. This is what the Cowboys have to have tonight. This is a defense that earlier this season for St. Thomas gave up 408 rushing yards to Deerfield Beach. So they're not a great defense against the run. 148 a game. You would expect Bubba Brown to have a big night for Osceola.
1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. D's on the keeper, not going to get very much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Linebackers for St. Thomas Aquinas, including Chase Gainey, who's one of the team captains, and Christopher Eterno in on the stop. And again, Dees is only a sophomore, making the start in place of the injured Tasharvin Bell, the left-hander. 5'11", 175. He does have some experience in the postseason, but obviously not nearly the experience of Bell. Where they're going to miss Bell is in the running game. He is the 3rd leading rusher on the team at 606 yards.
I think the best way to attack St. Thomas is right at him early on with Bubba Brown.
On the halfback option, very nearly completed to Thomas. It was a great look as number 12, Bryant Butler, who's listed as a linebacker on the roster. He steps in on the halfback option, and he bonks one off the helmet of one of the Raiders defenders.
They're going to try to slip the slot out there down the field. Momo Thomas, but a good job right there by number 21, John Carr, getting back and getting in the throwing lane. And even though he didn't really deflect it, he did get in the way of the receiver and cause the incompletion.
Brings up a 3rd and 9 as Dees goes under center. 2 running backs behind him. Brown back in the game.
Brown on the
Bubba
carry.
Brown gets the carry, picks up just a couple of yards. That'll set up a 4th down.
Brought down by number 53, William Nessel.
If you're curious about the kicking game for Osceola High School, they got 2 kickers on the roster. They have attempted 2 field goals all season. So on a 4th and 7, you probably shouldn't be surprised to see him going for it.
Now they're a 4-down team, it appears. That was an interesting formation. We'll see if they come back to that a little bit later on. So far early in the game, St. Thomas bringing 8 guys in the box, a 5-man front with 3 linebackers. They've literally got 9 guys in the box once you walk the corner in, down on the wingback.
See what Rolson's crew can do. Dees takes off, eludes 1 tackle, but he's ripped down. Ronnie Kennedy comes streaming in from his defensive back position. And Christopher Eterno also in on the stop. So the 4 downs and out. Change of possession gives the ball to St. Thomas Aquinas. They'll be at about their own 16-yard line to start.
Miscommunication with the young sophomore quarterback. You know, obviously he's taken a lot of reps this week, but without the senior back there, I think that's where the communication problem broke down.
Ryan Becker is a junior. Starting quarterback for St. Thomas Aquinas. Over 1,500 yards passing this season. 23 touchdowns against only 4 interceptions. Only 168 attempts. Raiders are a little bit more balanced than Osceola. They do prefer to run the ball. They've got Jeremiah Harden back there. And Harden is the man who gets the carry here. Jeremiah Harden out to the 50. Jeremiah Harden to the 30, to the 20, 10-5 touchdown. First play from scrimmage for St. Thomas Aquinas. And Jeremiah Harden, who had 104 yards rushing in the semifinals, goes 84 yards for a touchdown here.
That play right there shows you why everybody in the country is watching him. He's going to come on a draw play right here. Now watch him break the ankles of the defensive back. They hand it to him right up the middle. Now right here, he's going to, bam, right there, right foot cut, and then he finds the open space and heads to pay dirt. Jeremiah Harden didn't waste long, or waste much time. Didn't take him very long to be heard from in this state final game. 174 yards a year ago, and he's well on his way after 1 carry.
Kick is good, and it is 7-0. St. Thomas Aquinas as they come out swinging with Jeremiah Harden. He goes the distance for his 20th touchdown of the season. 7-0 here in Orlando.
High school championship football is here on FSN Florida. In the Class 4A division, the Panthers of Nice take on the Tornadoes from Washington. The Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Saturday at 1 p.m. on FSN Florida.
Right now, over half our suits and sport coats are on sale, plus hundreds of pants, sweaters, shoes, shirts, and outerwear, 20 to 50% off. Now that's a sale. I guarantee it.
Open to your stay.
What day is it? Saturday? So I haven't missed it. Today, everyone gets a rear seat entertainment system. And to you, a rear seat entertainment system.
And one for you, and one for you, and one for you, young boy.
Rear seat entertainment system, everyone.
This holiday season, lease the all-new 2008 XC70 crossover and get a complimentary rear seat entertainment system.
What's more thrilling than a crazy coaster? Lightning hockey. With blazing speed and unmatched action, you'll love it live. Tickets start at $15. Get yours today. Lightning hockey. Love it live.
High school championship football is here all Christmas Day on Sun Sports. Enjoy all the action from the Class 2B, 4A, 1A, and 6A championship games. The Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods starting Tuesday morning at 10 right here on Sun Sports.
Hoppin' Bar is having their annual holiday sale with great deals like these. Looking for power? What about this supercharged Harley-Davidson? Shelby GT, 500 horsepower, Shelby GT convertible.
Get a free sync system on all 2008 Lincolns.
Save $6,000 off MSRP on all new Grand Marquis.
$18,990 buys a new loaded Escape. Buy this Marriott for only $19,990.
No, boss, not on MKX and Edge. Buy them at $1 over invoice. Happy holidays. See you at Papa Ma Ford Lincoln Mercury in St. Cloud.
Remember when we were fascinated by this sound? Racing onto the internet through a
dial-up phone modem. Woo! We thought that was fast. Until competition came from cable and they set the internet on fire.
Whoopee!
Movies and music and pictures.
Just like that.
Cable fixed TV, the internet.
And now phones. En un solo pago. Cable competes.
We win.
The Orlando Magic are on FSN Florida. Dwight Howard leads the Magic as they take on the New York Knicks. Knicks Magic, Wednesday at 7 on FSN Florida.
Well, just like that, Jeremiah Harden with an 84-yard touchdown run. We are just told it is a state record. That is the longest run from scrimmage and the longest touchdown run ever in a state championship game at the FHS-AA Finals. And it was the first play of the night from scrimmage for the St. Thomas Aquinas offense. Once again, let's check the road to the finals for the St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. They have not allowed more than 2 touchdowns in any one game in the postseason. They allowed only 31 passing yards in the semis in beating Largo to get to Orlando. Osceola, meanwhile, is a pretty good story, beating Plant City. Then they ended up beating Lakeland for the 2nd time this year. Beat him in the playoffs, also beat him in the regular season. When they beat them in the regular season, it snapped Lakeland's 53-game winning streak, which was a state record. Then it was on to Tampa Chamberlain and then to Bartram Trail of Jacksonville in overtime to set up their trip to the championship game. 1998 state champs. This is their 3rd finals appearance overall. They lost in 1982, won it in 98, and now back in 07.
Jeremiah Harden, that run was electric. And, you know, this is a kid you could see developing last year as a junior, now a senior, brings that experience. Florida State, Miami, South Florida, Wisconsin, Florida, UCF, and many more. Looking at that young man, and you know he's going to be a terrific player at the next level.
Senior Brandon Parker to kick it off with Thomas to the left and Daniels to the right. Thomas will let it go. It's a touchback. And the Cowboys will once again come out to the 20. Well, again, St. Thomas Aquinas, and they hate talking about this, Brady, but it's part of their identity as a championship program. They have made 10 trips to the state championship game. They have lost 7 of those 10, including 3 in a row. And we wanted to show you the road for Osceola to point out that Osceola did St. Thomas a favor. They knocked Lakeland out of the postseason. Lakeland has been the team that has victimized St. Thomas Aquinas in the last 3 state championship games.
2 of those seasons ending up as the national champion for Lakeland.
Osceola back to work with Dees to his left, his throwing side, and he gets nothing, stacked up at the 20.
Pretty obvious early on, they want him to be a big part of the offense, meaning St. Thomas. They're going to play the pitch, they're going to play the fullback, and they're going to see if the sophomore can make some big plays on a big stage tonight.
Dees listed as a quarterback and a linebacker. He did engineer those 3 touchdown drives in relief of Tasharvin Bell in the semifinal win over Bartram Trail, but you saw his passing numbers earlier. He was 2 out of 3 in the game. Wasn't called upon to throw the ball very often. Probably will not be called upon to throw the ball if things go according to plan for Osceola tonight. 2nd and 10. Turns, hands it off. This is Thomas. Thomas with space. Out across the 50 to the 45-yard line, a first down, and Osceola able to get a big gain to answer Jeremiah Harden's shot in the first quarter.
Well, this is their favorite play with Momo Thomas. They're going to run a counter where both these guys are going to pull back and the wingback is going to come back around. Watch this. He's going to follow his 2 linemen, see him pull, and now he comes one way following those 2 guys. It's the counter play for Osceola in this flex bone. They'll run the trap and the power play with Bubba Brown up the middle. They'll run the counter with Momo Thomas to try to take advantage of a fast flow defense.
And a nice block by wide receiver Rakeem Bell upfield to help spring Thomas. It's a first down at the 44-yard line. Brown and Thomas behind D's. They'll give it to Brown. And Kwame Bubba Brown, who's being looked at by UCF, by Kansas State, by South Florida, by Rutgers, by just about everybody.
West Virginia?
Yeah.
They're all in there. There you see his numbers. 19 carries a game on the season. I think he's got to go over 20 tonight as you see him come out. I think him and Momo are going to have to add 2 or 3 carries to their workload without Tasharvin Bell at the quarterback spot tonight.
They're shuttling Brown here early in the first quarter. It is a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. On the end around, they'll give it to Butler, and Butler's going to throw it again. This time the play works. They tried that play earlier with Butler and Thomas. This time Butler hooks up with Thomas, and that's enough for a first down on the halfback option pass.
Well, the beauty of bringing everybody inside in this double wing formation and getting all the defenders in is it spreads them out. When you get a receiver out on a little corner route right there by Momo Thomas, he just comes from his wingback position, and a good job of a pitch and a catch with Bryant Butler to Momo Thomas.
First down at the 28-yard line for the Cowboys. They'll go back to their traditional set with Brown and Thomas in the back. Brown takes the handoff out to the 25. Brown's got some room to the 20. Close to a first down. Tackled at the 18-yard line, which is about what he needed for the first.
And this is what I'm talking about, their bread and butter play. With this offense, what they're going to do is they're just going to trap right inside here. Watch number 64, Ricky Archer. He's going to find the first color right there. He buries number 91, Daniel Reeves, and that allows Brown to get up inside and make positive yards. You want to run Brown inside, although he can run outside, and then you want to use some misdirection with Momo Thomas. The offense is running very well. Both series, they've moved the ball very effectively. Let's see if they can tighten up and get the ball in the end zone this time into the red zone.
You saw Brown lose the football. Thomas pounced on the fumble. It is a first down now at the 18. They got exactly the yardage they needed. They'll give it back to Brown. Brown on the carry to the right. A helmet goes flying out of the pile. Brown gains about 3. Number 14, Connor O'Neill, losing the headgear. 5-yard gain officially, 2nd and 5.
This is an Osceola offense, folks, that's rushed for over 4,440 yards this season. That's 80% of their total offense. They've been over 40 points 6 times with, and I think they would be comfortable in something like we saw last year with Lakeland and St. Thomas, a track meet, because they haven't shut anybody out all season. So they're not going to, obviously weren't going to shut St. Thomas out. They would be very comfortable in a track meet, even though they're a running team.
2nd and 5 with D's under center. Brown on the carry over the right side, picks up a couple of more across the 10-yard line, down at the 9. Clock moves at 3:47 in the first.
He is quick through the hole. I mean, that was decently blocked, pretty well defended, and he was able to make positive yards. And Bubba Brown is a guy that just explodes through the hole. He is low, he is built to win as a running back, and he does a great job of always falling forward on a run play.
He needs only 2 points to tie the Florida scoring record, which is 268. That is held by Anton Smith, formerly of Pahokee High School, now of Florida State. 7-0 Raiders. They'll give it back to Brown again. Brown, touchdown. With an extra point, the Cowboys of Osceola High School can even the score at 7 apiece.
It's their belly series, and instead of going inside, he runs away from color. He sees white, and he runs away from color to pay dirt and gets out on the perimeter. Good job with the left side of the line blocking. He's able to run away from Connor O'Neill, and a touchdown for Bubba Brown.
So Bubba Brown adding to his touchdown totals on the season now. That is number 40. And And the extra point sneaking in there to tie the game at 7 apiece. Actually, we'll update Brown. That would be 42, I believe, touchdowns this season. Get the official number in a second.
That is correct. They're going to go over to left side. Now, he's going to run a belly play where everybody's blocking man on man right here. But he's going to bounce it outside because of the vision. Watch. He comes down. There's nothing there, so he bounces away from color. And when you talk to running backs, you say color, the opposite color of what you're playing. So for him, it's the white color. He says every time you see a white jersey, you keep moving to the outside until you find the window, and then you get north and south for the touchdown. That's exactly what Bubba Brown did right there. Well blocked on the left side of the line. Cody Pate, Malcolm Hall on the left side did a terrific job.
Bubba Brown, interesting story. His mom actually took him out of Osceola High School as a sophomore because he had flunked a class as a freshman. And he wasn't able to play football his sophomore year, and he said it was absolutely miserable. It made him realize what was truly important. He came back in as a junior, got his grades together, had a lot of help from Jeff Rolson, who it so happens arrived at Osceola during Brown's junior season, which was last year. And Brown's mother, Tammy, says, what Coach Rolson has done for my son and for all these kids, we can never repay him.
That was a good answer drive by the Cowboys. They've had 2 good series, came away stopped on down. St. Thomas gets the big run, emotions on their side, and Osceola just cranks it right back up, just down the field and scores.
A short kick by Chris Elsterman. It's fielded by O'Neal. Connor O'Neal eludes a couple of tackles, gets around Elsterman. Connor O'Neal could go. Connor O'Neal, 10, 5, touchdown. There are no flags. On a short kick by Chris Elsterman after the Brown TD, Connor O'Neal takes it back. Goes almost 70 yards for a touchdown.
What great speed and terrific job of blocking. Look, all the Cowboys get out of their lanes right there. They don't keep the ball carrier on the upfield shoulder. And once he got past Momo Thomas, it was lights out. St. Thomas in the return game, very well coached, and they made Osceola pay.
Well, you really saw the job that St. Thomas Aquinas did blocking for O'Neal, as the follow-up kick is good.
By the way, he plays linebacker and defensive back. O'Neal, just a junior. And that was just, you know, that was a classic case of where they kicked it inside the left side of the hash and guys got out of the lane. You had 6 guys try to converge on him, and once he got away from that pile, there wasn't much left on the outside. One good block made Momo Thomas miss, and the rest was history. Wow, fireworks. You like it?
So far, so good. I'm not sure it can match last year's 5A game. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but right now we're about at the same pace.
Well, George Smith always seems to have a good mix of seniors and underclassmen. And when I mean underclassmen, I mean juniors, guys waiting in the wings. They lost so much talent off that team a year ago that I think there are a lot of people in South Florida weren't sure they were going to get back. But those juniors that played last year and that were waiting their turn really kind of motivated this team in the offseason, in the workouts, in the weight room, in the 5:30 running drills. And they are back here, maybe not as deep of a recruiting class of seniors, but he always has a nice roster of seniors and juniors. And, you know, their quarterback's a junior now this year, and he likes him and Becker. I mean, they always seem to have a well-distributed 2 deep at St. Thomas.
George Smith has been at that Catholic school in Fort Lauderdale since 1975. And since 1996, he's 149-19, averaging 12 wins a year. Bucci to kick it off, and that'll be into the back of the end zone for a touchback. So once again, for the 3rd consecutive possession, the Osceola Cowboys will start, or Brandon Parker, correction, to kick it off. The Osceola Cowboys' 3rd straight possession will start on their 20-yard line.
Well, you just continue to do what you do in the flex bone offense. They have not, St. Thomas has not been able to stop it yet for Osceola. I mean, they've gone right down the field twice with this offense, and the sophomore quarterback's done a nice job in the first 2 series. And again, when you get an emotional play like that on special teams, the best thing you could do if you're the opponent is to come back out and answer.
Yeah, Brown's touchdown run was answered by O'Neill's touchdown return. Now the Cowboys have the ball again, and they go back to Thomas. Thomas to the 25-yard line, down at the 27. It'll be 2nd down and 3 as the clock moves past 2:45 in the first.
And this is just a quick toss, and it had to be because they were beating down on him. I think it was Christian Thompson that was coming in there, flying in there at the linebacker spot, hitting Dees as soon as he tossed it out. But they'll run the speed sweep with the handoff, and they'll also toss it as well. They've got plenty of running plays in this offense. It's the flex bone's very difficult to defend, and anytime you can get positive yards on 1st down, you feel like you're winning the game.
Thomas with 15 touchdowns on the season. 2nd and 3 on the 27-yard line here in the first quarter. Dees takes the snap, gives it to Brown. Brown to the 2nd level, leveling linebackers for St. Thomas Aquinas. He takes the 1st down. John Carr on the stop. But when you see this again, wait until you see some of the guys that Brown hits.
Well, this is that belly series to the weak side, and watch him just truck John Carr right there. And oh my goodness, he lowered the pads. That is great pad level, and that's the 2nd time they've had positive yards on that overload play. They'll overload it to one side and run him to the weak side. Man, can he run the football.
Brian Robinson was the guy that finally knocked him down. 1:38 to go, 1st down at the 44-yard line. They go to Thomas. Thomas out across the 50-yard line, fumbled the football. St. Thomas Aquinas says they've got it. Referees are going to say he was down. Football came loose. The Raiders, I believe, just drew a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. They were complaining. They argued they had the football on a fumble, and flags went flying in the defensive backfield.
They come back to the counter series again, and let's see, Momo Thomas has got that ball on the inside arm. Let's see if we can see what happens. Here he is, knee down right there. But I can't quite see, and then there comes the ball out right here. There's that counter play where they bring the backside guard and tackle. He's fighting for extra yards. I believe his right knee was down. I think they got the right call. Hard to tell, though. Real hard to tell in that traffic. And, you know, he did carry the ball very loosely. I'm sure that's something they'll try to tighten up.
Penalty was waved off, apparently. It looked like they were going to get a sportsmanlike conduct flag, the way the referees threw the flags, but the penalty was waved off, and down by contact is the ruling. They'll go back to Brown, and an excellent tackle made by Christian Thompson, who sailed in from his defensive back spot. 6'2", 185. He's a senior. 82 tackles this season, 10 for loss. Let's make it 11.
Yeah, that was a run blitz, and you'll see a lot of that today from the St. Thomas linebackers. Of course, another highly touted recruit right there from South Florida, 6'2", 185. As you mentioned, guy could probably play strong safety or grow into a big linebacker spot. LSU, Miami, Mississippi State, some of the schools looking at Mr. Thompson.
Getting close to 30 seconds left in the first quarter. It's a 2nd and 10 for Osceola. Cowboys send the man in motion. They go back to Butler. Butler's going to throw it again. That's the 3rd time they've run this play tonight, and this time incomplete, looking for Momo Thomas.
Well, too much penetration up front. Credit the defensive line. Neselt was doing a good job up there. Number 53, the junior defensive tackle, Daniel Reeves. Those guys got good penetration up the middle. It really kind of disrupted Osceola's flow on that play.
Neselt, 6'3", 240. He's a junior. Butler will come out of the game for the Cowboys with a K. Third and 11 from the 42-yard line. Brown is the lone setback. And that's going to be a motion penalty. Gerald Emanuel, who is a sophomore running back linebacker, number 25, was supposed to come in motion. Miscommunication between Dees and Emanuel. And the Cowboys are going to be
dead ball, defense, 5
Wow.
yards, 3rd down.
They called offsides against St. Thomas Aquinas' defense. I suppose it happened before Emanuel moved.
Well, or they might not have seen him. And, you know, when you step in motion, as long as he steps parallel, I guess they could consider he was still going in motion simultaneously to when St. Thomas jumped offside and made contact. So a big break right there for Osceola.
Yeah, indeed. The Cowboys get a little bit of a break because it very easily could have been a procedure penalty against Osceola. Instead, they'll get St. Thomas Aquinas for being offsides. And they'll go 5 yards forward. Dees turns and hands the ball off again to Brown. Football is loose again. And this time they're going to give him the fumble. Late on the signal, but this time the ball did pop loose, and it is a turnover as St. Thomas Aquinas recovering a fumble by Bubba Brown.
Having a hard time holding on to the football in traffic early on in this game. Again, that belly series, fullback, and yes, it comes out. Before he goes down, it comes out. Terrific hit right there by number 10, Dorian Graham.
And Nesselt, who is the offensive and defensive lineman for the Raiders, recovers the fumble. So there's 2 seconds left in the quarter, enough time for Becker to run a play. He will turn and hand to Harden. Harden coughed up the football, my goodness. As time runs out in the first, Harden fumbled. Recovered by St. Thomas Aquinas, however. So, well, we got to put some stick 'em on that football for the second quarter. First quarter is complete. 14-7. St. Thomas Aquinas of Fort Lauderdale leading Osceola High School out of Kissimmee. We have played 12 minutes. The Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods will continue right after this, live on Sun Sports.
Think about it, Frank. Hold on. I'm a salesman. I work in Virginia, but I do business in Colorado.
The bucket's jammed.
So hydraulic issue.
Sacramento.
Roger that, 7-9er. Roger that, 7-9er.
Fly me in a little lower.
Request permission for lower altitude recon.
Flagstaff.
Democracy, people.
In San Antonio. So I need a network that works where I live. A place called Virgicalamento Flag Antonio. Frank, I'm back.
The new AT&T works in more places like Virgicalamento Flag Antonio.
There's a world outside every darkened door where the brave are free and lovers soar. Come ride with me to the distant shore. Life is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long.
Ever since there were cars, Americans have had a love affair with the open road. And with quality gasoline and great snacks coast to coast, Valero is your perfect travel companion. Valero, the all-American gasoline for the all-American love affair.
These cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's
Attention boaters, looking for a safer boating lifestyle with less maintenance? Then log on to boatmat.com. For a clean, safe entry point, try the custom embroidered carpet mat. Protect your gunnels from unsightly scratches and avoid slip and falls with a custom embroidered boarding mat. And keep your coolers from sliding while underway with the original non-skid cooler mat. Order online 24/7 or receive free shipping with all phone orders. Call 866-BOATMAT now. Boatmat.com, your first step to safe boating.
If you want to make your hard-earned dollar go a whole lot farther, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has the low prices guaranteed to save you money. Get ready to get the best price possible on all the parts and accessories you need with our ready-to-go low price guarantee. Nobody can beat our prices on just about anything for your car. So when you want to get more for your money while getting more out of your car, get to Advance Auto Parts for our everyday ready-to-go low price guarantee.
ready in advance.
Sunday Night Hoops snaps into focus. First, resurgent Florida State takes on ACC rival Georgia Tech. Then, Tyler Hansbrough leads national title contender North Carolina against Valparaiso. Sunday Night Hoops, presented by Pizza Hut, this week on FSN.
Get ready for Bell's lowest bell ringer prices of the season. 6-hour bell ringer savings start Saturday at 7 a.m. Find men's Columbia short sleeve bonehead shirts for only $24.99. Lighted palm trees lowest price is $28.99. And ladies CB casual Christmas tees are just $8.99. Make their wishes come true at Bell's. Give the Florida lifestyle. Bell's.
Okay! Nap time's over! Don't just lay there like a bunch of leftovers!
Not you again!
You call yourself deep fish? You're a disgrace!
Right.
Let's go! Move it, move it, move it! Go, go, go,
Go away!
Texas Pete hot sauce.
I'm with City of Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer. Mr. Mayor, a couple questions quickly. You've got special interest tonight. You played for Osceola. Talk about it.
I did. It's a fun time in these state championship games. I played for Osceola, and then we have Boone High School from the City of Orlando be playing in the 6A final tomorrow.
Quickly talk about the venue here, the Citrus Bowl. Approved renovations are on the books. Talk about it.
Well, we have 3 new community venues, or 2 new ones, a new event center and a performing arts center, and a renovation to our Citrus Bowl that we'll be undertaking beginning this year.
Appreciate your time, Mr. Mayor. Go enjoy the ball game. Brady Witt, back to you.
Yeah, Buddy Dyer was born in Orlando and went to high school at Osceola High, the mayor of Orlando, and people in Central Florida know all about it. The design for the new event center, the new arena where the Orlando Magic are going to play, was actually announced about 3 days ago, unveiled at a press conference. Citrus Bowl is also part of the plan, as is a downtown performing arts center. Take a look at the drives so far as the second quarter gets underway. And, well, one play, 84 yards, and a 73-yard kickoff return and 14 points. Is there an effectiveness stat in high school football? 14-7, St. Thomas leading Osceola.
Well, they got to settle in and get into a rhythm. You know, one of the big things about having or one of the problems about scoring so easily, one play and then a kickoff return, is your offense is, you played an entire quarter of football and your offense has had 1 snap.
Exactly.
Or actually 2 snaps. They got 1 before the end of the quarter. So they're not really in a rhythm yet to see what Osceola's defense is going to do and what they like in the first quarter.
Giovanni Bernard on that previous carry with a 4-yard gain. Back to pass is Becker. And Becker high to the right side. That pass is complete to Philip Pierre Louis, who has 14 touchdowns this season. He's a senior. 5'8", 170, wears number 2 for the Raiders of Fort Lauderdale.
Terrific talent, and this is the formation I think that's going to give Osceola the most trouble. When St. Thomas goes 4 wide, with the depth they have at receiver and the skill position, and a very accomplished quarterback in junior Ryan Becker, I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Osceola defense.
Becker out of the shotgun, fakes the handoff and keeps it, steps across the 50-yard line. He is wrestled down by Jarrell Emanuel, the sophomore linebacker. It'll bring up a 2nd down and short situation for the Raiders. They have had all kinds of success in the postseason. 4th consecutive finals appearance. Their 11th finals appearance since 1991.
Coach Smith gleaming before the game about Ryan Becker. When I asked him about him and comparing him to Wesley Carroll, who's not at Mississippi State, started as a true freshman, said he can be every bit as good as the one that just played before him.
Becker back to pass. It's complete to Pierre Lewis, who is knocked out of bounds.
Becker's pass complete.
He appears to have the distance for a 1st down. They're going to check the spot. Probably end up moving the chains.
Well, you know the receivers coached by Chris Carter are going to know and understand where the chains are and what the down and distance is. I think a penalty may bring it in. It came in late. But you know that that's one of the things they're going to be pretty good at. If it's 3rd and 6, they're going to get 7.
6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
Replay 2nd down on the call from Steve Lund, the A1 Officials Association of Daytona Beach. And there's Chris Carter, the soon-to-be Hall of Famer, whose son, Duran, is on the roster as a wide receiver, not surprisingly. Where's number 8? He's a junior, 6'2", 170. 2nd and 10 from the 47. Becker will step back into the shotgun again. That's Kennedy moving. There's a flag on the play. They'll find Harden on the screen. Harden eludes 1 tackle. Harden into the 2nd level, a 1st down and more. Now we'll see what the flag is all about. It went early. I'm done guessing on these penalties, but that flag was early enough to indicate it might be an offensive procedure type penalty. It's a sideline warning.
Well, that play was worth watching, and you know, you look at the speed and the burst and the acceleration from Harden. Take a quick look at it. I mean, the one thing that impressed me most about this play is watch when he catches it, how he stops and gets north and south immediately. That is how you play football. I mean, he caught the ball going away and was able to stop and get north and south and then show you the athleticism for the 1st down. This kid is special. Jeremiah Harden has got it going on early in this football game.
It is a 1st down at the 36-yard line here in the 2nd quarter, 9:54 to go. On the end around, Pierre Lewis. A correction, it's Ronnie Kennedy. And Kennedy's got another 1st down, number 5, across the 20-yard line, down to the 16.
Well, the speed sweep to the receiver in motion, or Ronnie Kennedy, who also plays some halfback. And this is one of the, you know, this makes it tough. Now, he's going to come in motion here and come up the field. You have to get guys blocking in space. They do a great job. He makes the 1st guy miss and then uses his vision to get backside, pick up the 1st down. This offense, very impressive. A lot of speed at the skill position for St. Thomas.
Dwayne Difton and his receiver wide to the left. They go inside, fumble, and Osceola has picked it up. St. Thomas Aquinas coughs up the football. That is another fumble here in the 1st half, as the players are still fighting for it at the bottom of the pile. But from our angle, we saw at least 2 Cowboys fall on the football, and that is the signal. Osceola gets it back on another turnover.
And they just never really got it in the pocket. A miscommunication between the quarterback and the running back. And Bernard never really got the ball, and that was a gift to Osceola because St. Thomas was moving the football at will on that Osceola defense. So both teams now with 1 turnover.
Both of them have put it on the ground as Bernard and Becker couldn't get their signals straight. Mark Dees, the sophomore, comes back out to engineer the Osceola offense with 9:27 left. 1st down at the 15, heading left to right in the 2nd quarter. They'll go inside to Thomas, nothing doing. He is pushed backwards. Number 45 is the linebacker Chase Gainey, whose name we've mentioned a couple of times. One of the captains for the Raiders, a senior, 6'1", 225.
One final note on that St. Thomas fumble. I mean, that has been a little bit of a bugaboo for Coach Smith this year. They've had 12 fumbles on the season lost, which is quite a few. And you know, they've only lost 1 game, but they have put it on the ground a little bit more than some of his teams in the past.
2nd and 15 as the Cowboys get knocked backwards on their opening play of this drive. They fake the handoff to Brown, and Dees on the keeper. Dees with a 1st down all the way out to the 32. Mark Dees, the quarterback, sophomore, pressed into duty as Desharvin Bell is on the sideline with a bad knee. Speaking of, let's go downstairs and talk to Terry Norvell.
Brady, I tell you, from field level, the offensive line splits are incredible here, particularly in the B gap. It seems like that's a real way for Osceola to at least dictate where the St. Thomas defense is going to line up. When they put 8 or 9 in the box, at least they, with those wide splits, have an idea of where the defense is lined up. It's a huge gap between the guards and the tackles, and it's working for the Cowboys right now.
That's a good point, and as you see it, Right there is the gap Terry's talking about, and those are 2.5-foot splits from the guard to the tackle.
There's a whistle. And it's a delay of game, I believe, against Osceola.
What that does, that allows you to run the ball between the guard area more effectively. And you see if that's not a tendency when they move their tackles out, if that allows them to move their guards around a little bit more on the inside when they run Brown between the guard and center gaps.
Our Daytona Beach-based officials are going to talk this over.
Dead ball, delay, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that is indeed the call. It's a delay of game as the clock had run down. There's Dees. Well, the hair thing we've noticed already on this first day of our second weekend. In our earlier game, we had Naples High School in the 3A final. A bunch of their guys had the dyed hair for the championship game. We had a player that hadn't shaved in about 3 months. Now we got Dees with the colored mohawk look.
I had a mohawk when I was in high school. You got to have a mohawk once in a while. You know, you got to have some. You got to have some stuff, especially when you get to state. You got to have a little bit of.
A little something.
Yeah.
They give it to Brown on a 1st and 15 after the penalty. They need to get to the 41 for a first down. He is short of the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and long now for the Cowboys. They are 14-0. They have outscored their opponents 506 to 219 this season. St. Thomas Aquinas 13-1. As you look at Jeff Rolson, only his 2nd year at Osceola. 17-3 in those 2 years. Last year, 7-3.
They're in a very, very difficult district with Lakeland and Lake Gibson, who are 2 terrific programs.
Inside handoff to Thomas. Thomas picking his way back across the 34 near the 35-yard line. It'll be a 4th and long. And we'll see what the Cowboys choose to do. They were a 4-down team in the first quarter.
We've yet to see a punt.
I'm not sure they have a punter. We're going to find out pretty soon. Bryant Butler, the linebacker who has come in and thrown that halfback option pass 3 times in the game, he has checked in. He's number 12 on the left side of your screen, so keep an eye on Butler. The wideout is Bell on the lower part of your screen. Butler is to the right in that slot position. They're going to go for it. It's a 3rd down play, correction. May have lost track of the down there. 3rd and 7. And there's a flag before anything.
I believe one of the guards moved on the inside for Osceola, and that may put him back in 3rd and extra long.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So it is indeed still 3rd down, and now 3rd and even longer. It was 3rd and 7, now 3rd and 12.
You know, these offenses, wing tee offenses, flex bone offenses, they're rhythm offenses. Even though they're predicated on running the football 80% of the time, you have to get in a rhythm, and it all starts on 1st down.
They give it back to Butler, and for the 4th time, he will throw the football. Looking down long for Thomas, and just does overthrow him. Bryant Butler is apparently the designated passer out of that slot. That's the 4th attempt that he's had on the day, and now finally it is a 4th down, and now we're going to find out, do the Cowboys ever punt?
Well, the problem with that play with Butler is he was so excited to throw a deep ball again that he really kind of threw it before Momo Thomas could really get out there and get to the open area. If he would have just waited another half second, he might have had a chance to hit a big play to Momo Thomas.
Turns out they do punt once in a while. It's their team captain and number 1 tackler, linebacker Patrick Lambert, is back to kick it away. That is a high and very short kick. But it takes a good bounce across the 45, and it'll be out at the 44-yard line. That's where the Raiders will start with 6:06 left in the first half, and a 14-7 lead in the Class 5A final.
Yeah. My bill was really high this month. Can you help me figure out what I did wrong?
Absolutely. Say blah, 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 blah. There's nothing there. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, look, see, here's your problem right here.
What?
You talk too much.
Talk all you want for $35 a month. Metro PCS.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Unlimit yourself.
Celebrate the holidays and get up to $50 off any Samsung phone when you sign up for Metro PCS service.
Rise and shine! Sit down, boy! You call yourself a buffalo wing? You're one pathetic piece of poultry! Now move it! Go, go, go! Move, move! Go, 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 go! You can run, but you can't hide!
Texas Pete wing sauce.
There's no place like Florida for the holidays, and no place like Bell's to make your season bright. Give the Florida lifestyle. Bell's.
It's the season to shop, and the Red Tags are here for the Buick Pontiac GMC Red Tag event. And right now, they're bringing the best values of the season. Look for the Red Tag and get 0% financing for 60 months on remaining 2007 Pontiac, Buick, and GMC models. That's 0% financing for 5 full years on all 2007 cars, light-duty trucks, and SUVs while supplies last. Hurry, the Red Tag event ends January 2nd.
High school championship football is here all Christmas Day on Sun Sports. Enjoy all the action from the Class 2B, 4A, 1A, and 6A championship games. The Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods starting Tuesday morning at 10 right here on Sun Sports. Gator basketball snaps into focus on FSN Florida. Billy Donovan leads his new generation of future Gator greats in this battle on the hardwood. Owls, Gators, Saturday on FSN Florida.
Well, last year's Class 5A championship game down at Dolphin Stadium in Miami between St. Thomas Aquinas and Lakeland High School was an absolute classic. Lakeland was up 21-0 to start the fourth quarter. It was 28-7 halfway through the quarter. Wes Byram with a successful onside kick that led to a Jeremiah Harden touchdown. He would then successfully kick it onside again. And this would lead to another St. Thomas Aquinas touchdown. This time Leonard Hankerson on the catch. They would tie the game at 35, go to double overtime after the extra point was good to go to OT. In the second OT period, Coach George Smith goes for the win instead of the field goal. Harden gets denied, and Lakeland wins a third consecutive state championship in what was, to this day, the best football game I have ever seen at any level. And Brady and I were lucky enough to call that game live last year down in Miami.
And it says a lot about this program and George Smith and his staff to lose a game like that, to come so close, lose all those top recruits, and put his program right back in the Class 5A state championship game again.
6:06 to go. St. Thomas with Jeremiah Harden in a spot of trouble. He gets bottled up in the backfield. Anthony Gandy and Akeem Daniels closing down the running lane. That is a loss of about 5 yards.
Credit defensive tackle Malcolm Hall, the senior, for getting great penetration in there and getting Harden off schedule. When you're a running back, you want to be able to get the ball and look over the defense, and he didn't have a chance to even really see the defense with Malcolm Hall in his face, and then the rest of his defensive players made the play.
That brings up a 2nd and 15. Osceola had to punt the ball away on its last possession. The Raiders, meanwhile, going backwards on their first play of the drive. 2nd and 15. Becker fakes the handoff. Moves out to his right. That pass is incomplete. Intended for Carter. It was a little bit short. Brings up a 3rd and long.
Well, this is an offense in St. Thomas. I mentioned Osceola's offense, and I thought both teams would be comfortable in a track meet. They went over 40 points 9 times, hung 59 on Palm Bay in the playoffs. And Palm Bay wasn't their best team in recent memory, but they are strong football over there. And to hang 59 on Palm Bay, to me, really caught a lot of people's attention around the state of how good this team has gotten from the beginning of the season to where they are right now.
Palm Bay with head coach Dan Burke building a legacy for himself on the Space Coast of Florida. A 3rd and long. Becker's pass is complete to Pierre Lewis. And actually called incomplete. I think he stepped out of bounds before he had full control of the football. He appeared to make the catch, may have had a foot out of bounds when he did so.
Well, he ran a terrific route and got right to the first down marker. Let's see, works himself out. He's right at it. He might have been just a hair short. Check out his foot right there.
Yeah, the call is that he had stepped out of bounds when he caught the ball. So he made the catch, but with a foot on the white stripe.
Good call by the officials. 4th and
15. So St. Thomas Aquinas will have to punt this ball away.
So slowed down a little bit after the rush of 21 points on 3 consecutive possessions, so to speak. Defenses are starting to settle in and play a little bit better.
Benjamin Turk, number 18, a junior, will punt this ball away. That is whistled dead, a flag before the punt. It looked like either St. Thomas was trying to draw Osceola off sides, or perhaps they were having some communication issues themselves.
Dead ball, delay, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So they'll march 5 yards further back, a 4th and 20. The ball goes back to the 34-yard line. And Turk will try it again. 5'11", 180. The junior stands on his own 20. Momo Thomas back to receive for Osceola. Turk gets off a good kick. Thomas is going to have to let it drop, and it takes a big bounce. Now he takes it on the hop and fumbles the football. The ball is still loose, and now St. Thomas Aquinas has it. Momo Thomas, perhaps ill-advised to try to field that football. It popped out of his hands, and the Raiders now in business as it ends up being essentially a first down play down inside the 10.
I think Vincent Morrow came up with it, but here's the issue you have as a punt returner. If you can't catch it on the fly, then you need to let it go. And even though it bounced right to him, he's got to get that ball and get down. There you see Morrow coming up with the recovery. 2 thoughts on that. Number 1, you got to come up and catch it on the air. And number 2, first time playing in this stadium, the lights are higher. You know, sometimes guys don't see the ball quite as well, and that is a major, major mistake for Osceola.
So the fumble punt puts St. Thomas Aquinas in great position. There is no play. A flag and a whistle before the snap. Carter was the intended receiver. We'll see if the Raiders can capitalize on the mistake.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, they start by making a mistake, going 5 yards backwards. Second down now, or rather 1st down and 15 with the ball back to the 16-yard line. 4:54 to go in the second. After a Momo Thomas fumble on a punt return, Raiders trying to put one in and go up 21-7. Here is Jeremiah Harden to the 12. Still short of the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Jeremiah Harden is a perfect complement in this offense. The one thing St. Thomas tries to do is they try to stay balanced. They've run the same offense year in and year out. They will spread you out. They'll also get in the I formation and run pro style. And Harden is a guy that's kind of grown up in front of our eyes. You know, doing these state football finals the last couple of years, you could see the talent that this kid had. And it's good to see that they featured him a little bit more in the run game this season, and that all the college recruiters are noticing this kid.
Over 1,200 rushing yards this season for Harden, but this time they'll go to the air. And it's Carter for a touchdown. Duron Carter. His dad did that about 1 million times in the NFL. Touchdown catch off the throw from Ryan Becker.
And he looked a little bit like his dad on that one. Of course, his dad had 130 touchdowns during his career, but it's a play action, did a great job on the slant. And like you said, Whit, he's catching up with dear old dad here in the very, very near future.
Duron Carter, who's only a junior, 6'2", 170. The extra point from Pilardi is good. Pilardi, who is the PAT specialist, knocks it down, and it's 21-7 Raiders.
Here's what they're going to do. This guy's going to go out here in the curl, and he's going to come up and run the post to the end zone. Check it out. The curl's going to kind of widen out the window right there, get the linebacker running towards them. easy window for the slant. By pushing your halfback, number 5, by getting Ronnie Kennedy to swing out there, he was able to pull number 15, the linebacker Patrick Lambert, out of the throwing window. Easy throw and touchdown.
7 total touchdowns on the season now for Deron Carter. Live coverage of the Dodge FHS AA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods continues on Saturday on our sister network FSN Florida at 1 o'clock. We've got Nice against Booker T. Washington of Miami. And then at 7, Boone High, 3 miles away from the Citrus Bowl in Orlando against the #1 team in the country. Arguably the best team ever assembled in the state of Florida, Miami Northwestern. See that one live at 7 o'clock. The 6A final is on FSN Florida. Also a reminder that live post-game coverage follows not only tonight's game, but both of our games on Saturday. Terry Norvell will be gathering the interviews for us on the field. We'll bring you some extended coverage, including as much of the awards ceremony as we can provide.
Well, I really felt like coming in, the passing game was going to be the weapon for St. Thomas, and so far so good. I mean, Hardin had the big run. They got the kickoff on the special teams. Now they've got the passing game oiled up. St. Thomas looking awfully strong here in the first half.
Parker tries a pooch kick to keep it away from the speedy returners, Brown and Thomas. And number 12, Bryant Butler, who's our halfback pass specialist tonight, takes the kickoff and is knocked down to about the 30-yard line. That's where the Cowboys are going to start.
Well, if you're Osceola, you obviously got to keep away from the turnovers. I mean, you've shot yourself in the foot, but you're down 2 scores with 4 minutes to go. And if the offense can get back on track like it was the first 2 series, where it stayed on schedule, 1 first down, get Bubba Brown back involved in this football game, then I think you can get it down to 1 score and go into half, feel pretty good about yourself.
The Cowboys were in the playoffs every year from 1997 through 2003, and they have not been there until this season. 04, 05, and 06, they did not make the postseason. 07, they're in the championship game. Brown to the left, across the 35-yard line to the 37. It'll be 2nd down, and they've got to have the 43 for the first.
Well, Brown is special because St. Thomas had that snuffed out at the line of scrimmage. They just kind of pushed him outside, but he was able to get up the field and use his talent to make 4 yards. That was a well-earned 4 yards, and there you see him with 113 yards on the night. He scored a touchdown in every single game this season, so no team is able to keep him out of the end zone. Of course, 1 more touchdown, and he'll join some elite company in Florida high school history.
Yeah, 5 times this season, Brady, he rushed for at least 4 touchdowns in the game. It's popped backwards on the 2nd down carry. It'll be 3rd and long after a loss of a couple.
33, Christian Thompson being very active at his inside linebacker spot, shooting the gap again on a run blitz. And you know, you think of blitzes, you think of 7- and 8-man blitzes, but 33 is coming on run blitzes. They're bringing him an A-gap to the weak side, A-gap to the strong side. He is just using his instincts. He's been very active and very physical here in the first half. They've got him lined up, listed as defensive back, but he's lined up at middle linebacker. They've got an 8- to 9-man front today as they've kind of adjusted their defense to play the Cowboys.
2:40 to go in the first half. On a 3rd and 9, they'll give it to Brown again, and Aquinas was all over it. Linebackers stacking up Brown for a loss. It'll be 4th and long, and there's that man again, Thompson, who's the team's leading tackler, in on the play.
Watch him right here in the middle. He's just going to shoot the gap, and he's going to read it. Nobody can pick him up. See him come right underneath the trap block, and he's right there knocking it back. Bubba Brown. He's very active. It's a run blitz scheme, and you know, it's hard to account for him because they're just letting him go. The way you get rid of that is you try to throw the ball over the top, but Osceola is not a passing team.
Linebacker Patrick Lambert will once again step back to punt. Timeout is taken first here at the Florida Citrus Bowl in Orlando. The first of a 2-year arrangement between the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Central Florida Sports Commission, along with Edgewater High School, a group of entities in Central Florida calling itself Team Orlando, that helped bring these finals to the Florida Citrus Bowl. Central location for all teams involved. and a stroke of fortune, really, in terms of ticket sales and the gate, Brady, in that you had not one but two teams locally from Orlando that got to the state championship round. You got Osceola here tonight in the 5A, and then Boone tomorrow night in the 6A.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think Orlando's a great high school football town. So you're going to get a lot of walk-up people. I know the local high schools are also supporting Boone and Osceola that are here. And we saw it in Miami last year when Miami Northwestern was there. The Miami folks come and watch their team play.
So Lambert will kick it away. Harden is back to receive it. This is a much, much better punt. Bounces out of bounds at the 35-yard line, and that is where St. Thomas Aquinas will start with 2:13 left in the first half. A 33-yard punt. Today's Marines Honor Courage Commitment Award winner is Jeremiah Harden of St. Thomas Aquinas. And this award honors those who demonstrate leadership, team spirit, and consideration towards teammates and opponents. He had a big game last year in the state championship game, had over 100 yards in the semis this year as St. Thomas Aquinas able to knock off Largo. Osceola's defense steps up here, however. Number 27 is Mike Firmino, the defensive lineman. He's a senior, 5'9", 175, and that is about a 7-yard loss for the Raiders.
Well, Osceola is doing a good job in this quarter of shooting the gaps against the run game and making good plays. That's a terrific tackle right there for Firmino. And ever since the big run on the first play of the game for Harden, Osceola's done a nice job hemming him in.
2nd and 16 from the 29-yard line. Becker looking to throw, complete to Difton. Dwayne Difton evades 2 tackles, gets across the 40, knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, but did a spectacular job to pick up 3 more yards.
Just the junior, looks good in that number 1, and he does a great job right here coming out on the stop route. It's going to break it off. Becker delivers the ball on time. The soft cushion is there by Momo Thomas, and then he just shows great effort and desire to pick up an extra couple of yards and get out of bounds.
Stops the clock with 90 seconds left in the first half. It'll be 3rd and 3 where it could have been 3rd and 6. Becker goes back to the shotgun. They're going to look to the same side where Philip Pierre-Louis is close to a first down marker. And judging from the spot, I think he's going to have it.
Yeah, his momentum was past the first down marker, which also stops the clock to set the chain so you can get your offense set back up. But too much cushion right there for the Osceola defense in the soft coverage, and Becker just picks them apart for the first down.
Spotted for play at the 46-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from there as the second quarter winds to a close here at the Florida Citrus Bowl in the Class 5A championship game. St. Thomas up 21-7, driving here at the end of the half. Throwing again is Becker. That ball is incomplete. Intended for Ronnie Kennedy, a defensive back and wide receiver. Stops the clock, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, what a nice throw by Becker, though. You could see why the young junior is nearly a 60% completion passer, and he does a great job right here of throwing it over the defender. This is good coverage, but he just steps and throws. Look at him. He throws it right over the coverage, puts it right where you had to throw it, but could not come down with the catch. Number 5, Kennedy.
2nd and 10. 2 right, 2 left, 1 running back. High snap. Becker's able to hold on to it. Now he's in trouble. Gets pulled down from behind, manages to somehow shovel that ball forward to Carter, but it's still going to be a significant loss and a 3rd down.
He did a great job of getting rid of that and avoiding the sack. Carter's going to make the catch. First of all, a poor snap, which offsets the ability to look down the field because he's got to find the football. And as he's going down right there, just trying to make something out of nothing. And we'll make it a 3rd and long once again.
Actually, they're going to rule that an incomplete pass, which is something of a break for St. Thomas Aquinas because it would have been a loss of about 2 or 3 yards. As it stands, they're just back at the line of scrimmage with a 3rd and 10. The ball hits the turf as it skipped through the fingertips. Jeff Rolson looks on, the Osceola head coach. Illinois native. Only his second year in Kissimmee, and he's in the state championship game. Less than a minute to go. 3rd and long. Becker with time. Very nearly intercepted as Akeem Daniels jumped the route. Philip Pierre-Louis was the intended receiver.
Akeem Daniels did a great job coming underneath the post, reading the quarterback's eyes and making a terrific play. Watch the quarterback bunch left formation. He's going to throw the post down the field, thinks he's got a shot at it, and Daniels comes underneath and makes the play.
The flag in the middle of the field.
Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Holding against St. Thomas Aquinas was declined, so it'll be 4th and 10. And the Raiders are going to have to kick it away with 52 seconds left in the half. It's Benjamin Turk, the punter.
You know, Becker on that throw saw his receiver open, tried to get it there quick. As he gets older, he'll realize when you've got one-on-one coverage down the field, you want to throw it away and let your receiver run underneath it and go get the football.
Deep to receive is Thomas. Turk gets it off. Thomas lets it bounce and takes it again. To the 15, to the 20, stays in bounds. Thomas stays in bounds, the punter to beat. Turk cannot make the stop. To the 20, Thomas, 10, 5, touchdown Osceola. '87 yards on a punt return touchdown.
We're seeing some special teams fireworks tonight, and Momo Thomas makes up for the fumble on the last punt return. Tightropes his way down the sideline for a touchdown. The same sort of sequence as the prior punt, but he breaks 1, 2 tackles. Now watch the balance to stay inbounds down the sideline, and then he's just going to kind of just shun the punter into the end zone. Momo Thomas gets Osceola right back in it.
That is the second punt return for a touchdown that we have seen tonight. One from St. Thomas Aquinas, now one from Osceola. Oh, and the snap is high. So the extra point will not even be attempted, as Chris Elsterman never had the chance to put foot on the ball. We'll see if that comes back to bite the Cowboys, but in the meantime, it's 21-13 as Osceola is able to take a little bit of momentum with 31 seconds remaining in the first half.
Oh, it's just a terrific job by Momo Thomas. This time he gets a chance to put the ball away. And once he breaks the first line of defense, if you can get to the corner, if you can get to the edge on punt return or kick return, big plays can happen, and that happened on both St. Thomas's return for a touchdown and now Osceola's. And Momo Thomas makes up for that fumble earlier. It's a one-score game.
I saw you looking through the record book there, looking for the longest punt return for a touchdown. We were close, but not quite there. That was 87 yards. The record is 93 yards in a state championship game. That's the longest punt return for a TD. Done twice, most recently in 2003. Jerry Milbrook of Monsignor Pace in Miami did it against Jacksonville Bulls. And Corey Payne of Clewiston did it 2 years earlier against Madison County in the 2A final. So Thomas was just 6 yards off tying a state record. If he'd backed up, he would have had a shot at it.
He'd let it roll a little bit farther. And what an amazing turn of events. You know, St. Thomas has got a chance with a couple of first downs, maybe to get field goal range, go up 24-7, but Osceola's revived, I think, going to half behind Momo Thomas's punt return. And you don't get to 14-0 without having a team with a lot of resolve and a lot of resiliency. And Osceola is 14-0 in Class 5A for a reason. Had some tough, close games, but they've also, you know, been in some real fights, especially Lakeland. You mentioned Lakeland already a couple times in this broadcast. They went to Lakeland High School down 18 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And came back and won 25-21. It kind of stripped the L off the side of the helmet a little bit for the Dreadnoughts under Bill Castle, who's done a terrific job at that program. He lost all those Division I recruits, but by winning that game at Lakeland in week 9, they got a chance to host them in the playoffs. And for all intents and purposes, in week 2 in the new playoff format, that game wasn't even close. 22-7, they really drilled them in that football game. And I really think that says a lot about this team. And I think Coach Rolson and his staff know they're going to fight St. Thomas tooth and nail all the way to the end.
The team motto is tight like a family. They are very, very close, a tight-knit community. Now, Chris Elsterman appears to be lining up for an onside kick with 31 seconds left in the half. Let's see. Now they just chip it to the left. It's a short kick and it's fumbled. And that could have been a disaster. It was Philip Pierre-Louis who let the ball roll through his hands, almost dropped the football. Instead, the tackle is made. Pushing him backwards was Brian Taylor, a junior defensive lineman on kick coverage. So the Raiders are deep in their own territory and in danger of shooting themselves in the foot again there.
Well, big plays in this first half have really defined it when you talk about the 2 kick returns, the long run by Hart, and then a fumble by Momo Thomas set up the easy score, the touchdown pass for St. Thomas. So mistakes have been part of this first half. Big plays have been part of this first half. Should be an exciting second half between St. Thomas and Osceola.
And the Raiders are going to be content to let the clock run out and get to the halftime locker room before anything else nuts can happen here in the first half. As George Smith looks on, he will walk to the halftime locker room with an 8-point lead in the Class 5A state championship game. A wild first half, 2 punt returns for touchdowns, 7 points coming off turnovers after that Thomas fumble. He comes back and goes the distance. Let's go downstairs to Terry Norvell.
With St. Thomas coach George Smith. Coach, at 21-7 with about 4 minutes left in the half, it looked like your team had finally wrestled momentum, but boy, that big punt return really made this a tight game.
I didn't tackle anybody. What are you going to do?
Talk about your offense. Good news, you scored on 2 big plays in the first quarter, but the bad news, your offense was only on the field for 2 plays. Look, it took them a little time in the second quarter to get a little rhythm.
Well, you know, what do you want me to do? Just if we score in 2 plays, put them back in and not score?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of one of those catch-22s, but it seemed like your offense, the difference was you seemed to be able to pass it a little better than their side.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they have their own game plan. We have ours, and, you know, we just give up that thing in the end. We just got to try to come back out and move the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Whit, Brady, back to you.
So George Smith will head for the halftime locker room, as will the Osceola Cowboys. They are down 21-13, but a little bit of momentum back in that Osceola locker room after Momo Thomas goes 87 yards on a punt return to cut the lead to 8. When we come back, the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report here at the Florida Citrus Bowl. Whit Watson, Terry Norvell, and Brady Ackerman. 21-13 at the break. High school football continues after this, live on Sun Sports.
The following is rated SX. Viewer discretion advised. Road & Track says a welcome alternative to all those Civics, Corollas, and Sentras. Motor Trend says Suzuki is hot and has no plans of cooling down. CarAndDriver.com calls it the cure for the common Corolla. The all-new Suzuki SX4 Sport. Now playing at your local Suzuki dealer. It's going to be a great ride. This holiday, get $1,000 customer cash on all SX4s. Hurry in, ends January 2nd.
Kari Rigg is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell her story, we hired Peter Frampton.
My car was totally smashed in an accident.
Not a great way to start the morning.
And the tow truck that the police called damaged it even more.
I wanted to pull my hair out.
Geico handled everything quick and easy. It felt great.
Do you feel like I do?
Geico. Real service, real savings.
The Orlando Magic are on FSN Florida. Dwight Howard leads the Magic as they take on the New York Knicks. Knicks Magic, Wednesday at 7 on FSN Florida.
Every year, about this time, something magical happens. The red tags come out for the GMC Red Tag event. Look for the red tag and your chance to get the best price of the season on 2008 GMC models. Get 1.9% APR for 60 months on an 08 Sierra Crew Cab. Plus, buy or lease any new 2008 XM-equipped GMC and get 1 full year of XM service. That's 170 channels of music, sports, and more. See your GMC dealer by January 2nd.
Get your game face on and get your tickets to the Champs Sports Bowl right here in Orlando. On Friday, December 28th, Boston College and ACC Player of the Year Matt Ryan will duke it out against Michigan State and running backs Javon Ringer and J.U. Colcrick. It's gonna rock. Great value ticket packages are available like Family Zone packs. So bring the kids. Real fans are in the stands. Get your Champs Sports Bowl tickets at Ticketmaster or fcsports.com today.
Basketball snaps into focus on FSN Florida. Billy Donovan leads his new generation of future Gator greats in this battle on the hardwood. Owls, Gators, Saturday on FSN Florida.
The Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report at the Florida Citrus Bowl, the Class 5A final. Jeremiah Harden, the state record longest run from scrimmage, 84 yards, the first play of the game for St. Thomas Aquinas. But Osceola has come back to cut the lead to 8 at the break, 21-13 here at the Florida Citrus Bowl. Welcome back to the Class 5A final here in Orlando. Whit Watson, Brady Ackerman, great game in the first half. I thought you put it perfectly. Big plays really defined the first 24 minutes.
Turnovers and special teams. Whichever team at the half can go in and tighten up their special teams coverage, eliminate the turnovers, could come out on top. Exciting football, though, the first 2 quarters in Class 5A.
We have some halftime ceremonies tonight regarding the FHSAA's All-Century team. So to get you to that, we'll get you to the highlights of the first half and the stats right about now. We'll take a look, first of all, at Jeremiah Harden. And the first play from scrimmage for St. Thomas Aquinas in the state championship game is a state record in a state championship game.
Yeah, the kid had 174 yards a year ago, gets 84 on his first tote tonight. Well blocked at the point of attack, but Osceola responded, and Bubba Brown, the 10-yard touchdown run, puts him within 1 of tying the state record.
Now on the very next play, the ensuing kickoff after that touchdown, Connor O'Neill takes it back 50-plus on the kickoff return and scores to make it 14-7. And then after a Momo Thomas fumble, which you'll see right there, Duron Carter, in a moment, will come in with a touchdown catch.
Yeah, Carter catching a little slant pass right there, the son of future Hall of Famer Chris Carter. That would put them up 2 scores, but Momo Thomas atones for his fumble earlier with this long touchdown run. This punt return for a touchdown, 87 yards. That would get them in the end zone. They wouldn't get the extra point, but it would make it 21-13 in an exciting first half.
Yeah, that punt return only 6 yards off tying a state record. Osceola, they're going to run the football. They make no secret about it. 187 yards on the ground in the first half, 17 passing yards, 202 to 159. The turnovers also a very big story.
Yeah, the turnovers are a big story. When you look at it, Osceola, 2 turnovers. One of those resulted in the 7 points for Duron Carter on the touchdown catch, and that's the difference in the football game right now. When you look at the turnover margin, both offenses are kind of doing what they want to do, but you cannot give a team like St. Thomas the short field, so Osceola's got to tighten up ball security.
I think that's exactly the point, is that right now both teams are playing the game that they want to play. Yeah, the turnovers, you'd like to correct that. You'd like to not give up the big plays, but I think we're seeing more or less, offensively anyway, exactly what these teams have been all season long.
Yeah, Osceola's a running football team. They were on schedule the first 2 series, stopped on downs the first series, scored on the second one. They're going to come out and pound the football, run the rock. If you're St. Thomas, you're going to be balanced. If they take away Harden, then you'll throw the ball to those outstanding receivers. If you can get Harden going again, you'll continue to feed him the rock.
We're going to take a break here on Sun Sports. When we come back to the Florida Citrus Bowl, we'll take you down to the field and part of the celebration of the All-Century team in Florida high school football. Stay with us right here on Sun Sports.
It's Bobby Bowden's statue. Hold your breath until we pass it.
Hey, Bobby Bowden's statue.
So lifelike.
Dude.
Get him!
Do you have accident forgiveness? Call Allstate to sign up today. Are you in good hands?
Right now, over half our suits and sport coats are on sale, plus hundreds of pants, sweaters, shoes, shirts, and outerwear, 20 to 50% off. Now that's a sale. I guarantee it.
Open to your stay.
Florida's underwater world is one of its most beautiful and treasured assets. Now you can display your support of Florida marine life by purchasing an official Florida Save Our Seas or Florida Aquaculture license plate. Designed by conservationist and marine wildlife artist Guy Harvey, proceeds from these beautiful tags will provide funds for marine research, education, and resource management of Florida's marine animals. Help save our seas and support aquaculture. See your local county tax collector or tag agency for details.
And the Heat trail by 2.
Miami needs someone to step up here.
Okay, Dwayne. Let's get a nice open shot. No, dog. Just dunk it. Now, Dwayne. Kiss it off the glass. Kiss it? Take it in and dunk on him. He's a large man, Dwayne. Hey, do what you do. Dunk on him. Still time for a jump shot. What? Dwayne. Here we go. Don't do it. Lift off, baby. No.
What's faster than a race car at Daytona? Lightning Hockey! With blazing speed and unmatched action, you'll love it live. Tickets start at $15. Get yours today. Lightning Hockey. Love it live.
High school championship football is here all Christmas Day on Sun Sports. Enjoy all the action from the Class 2B, 4A, 1A, and 6A championship games. The Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods starting Tuesday morning at 10 right here on Sun Sports. The Orlando Magic are on FSN Florida. Dwight Howard leads the Magic as they take on the New York Knicks. Knicks Magic, Wednesday at 7 on FSN Florida.
Sunday Night Hoop snaps into focus. First, resurgent Florida State takes on ACC rival Georgia Tech. Then, Tyler Hansbrough leads national title contender North Carolina against Valparaiso. Sunday Night Hoops, presented by Pizza Hut, this week on FSN.
The Florida High School Athletic Association celebrates 100 years of Florida high school football in 2007. As part of that celebration, as we continue with the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report here at the Class 5A state championship game. An all-century team named earlier this week, and as the players' names were released to the media, it sparked, as you'd imagine, intense discussion, Brady, about who should have been on the list, who was on the list. Also, 12 all-century coaches were named. George Smith of St. Thomas Aquinas is one of them. But you look at the legacy of Florida high school football, you could field a Hall of Fame team just with guys that played here in the state of Florida.
Well, there you see Anthony Carter, who played at the University of Michigan. Emmett Smith, obviously his credentials speak for themselves. Michael Irvin. You notice the skilled guys as their household names at the next level.
Take a look at the offensive linemen on the list. Lomas Brown, Larry Gagner, Steve Hutchinson, who plays for the Vikings. His parents are here tonight accepting on his behalf. Larry Little, of course, a legend in the game. John Carney kicked for Cardinal Newman. Now here's the defensive side, and you talk about salty. We could get downright salty with this lineup.
That's very salty. You got the Ted Hendricks, the late Jerome Brown, Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood. Where do you want to start? How are you going to run on that defense? Wilbur Marshall, maybe the greatest player defensively in Florida history.
And then a little bit of speed, just a little bit of speed in the defensive backfield on this all-century team with Benny Blades, Leroy Butler, Riley and Sanders, Sean Taylor, Reggie Nelson, played at Palm Bay, Warren Sapp, Pat Summerall of Lake City, Columbia, also making the all-century team as voted upon by the media that cover the Florida High School Athletic Association. Let's go downstairs as the ceremonies continue to Terry Norvell.
Okay, guys, I hear you talking about all the fast little quarterbacks and running backs and receivers. Well, they can't get it done without guys like this. How about NFL Hall of Famer, offensive lineman Larry Little? Larry, let's start right here at this level, the high school level. You've played at every level, but it's special in high school, isn't it?
No doubt about it. These young men are not playing for money. They're playing for the love of the game and try to win football games. In pro football, it was all about money.
Now, Larry, you have a real quandary, you were telling me. Booker T. Washington, your high school, plays for the state title tomorrow, yet you've got a little commitment in Miami around that 17-0 perfect season Miami Dolphin football team. They're having a reunion, so you can only be in one place at one time. You'll miss the game here.
Yeah, we're having our celebration tomorrow. We had a golf tournament this morning, and I left after the golf tournament to come here to be here for this occasion, and they know I'll be there in spirit. Although I won't be here for the game, I'll watch it on TV tomorrow.
I've got to get your idea now. The all-century Florida high school team that's being introduced. Some pretty good defensive players, some pretty good offensive players. Could your offense move on this all-century defense?
I know we could. We have some great offensive players also, but there's some great guys that are on defense. Ted Hendricks, Deacon Jones, we all Hall of Famers. Jack Youngblood, another Hall of Famer. So, but I think we can get it done.
I've got to ask you, going back to the Dolphins, the perfect season, incredible football team. The New England Patriots are inching closer. Is anybody going to knock off the Patriots before they tie your record?
I believe so, but if they don't, if no one does do it, we'll be 1A and they'll be 1B.
There you go. You heard it from Larry Little. Let me ask you quickly now, big game tomorrow. Your high school, as we said, Booker T, taking on Nice. You got a feeling for the game?
Yeah, because I feel good about it because they fought so hard the last 4 years to get here, and now they have finally made it, and they're going to take it tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Larry. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Plenty more coming up here at halftime. Don't forget, it's the Osceola Cowboys 21-13 in the 5A state championship game.
I was just at one of those other wireless stores, and to get on their family plan, everyone has to share from the same bucket of minutes. So I go, you want my family to share? So how do your family plans work?
The first family plan with unlimited calling and texting and no sharing, as little as $20 a line. Metro PCS.
Hello, hello, hello.
Unlimit yourself.
There's no place like Florida for the holidays, and no place like Bells to make your season bright. Give the Florida lifestyle. Bells.
If you want to make your hard-earned dollar go a whole lot farther, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has the low prices guaranteed to save you money. Get ready to get the best price possible on all the parts and accessories you need with our ready-to-go low price guarantee. Nobody can beat our prices on just about anything for your car. So when you want to get more for your money while getting more out of your car, get to Advance Auto Parts for our everyday ready-to-go low price guarantee.
Ready in advance.
Ho, ho, ho! It's a Christmas on us sale going on now at Bill Curry Ford. Santa says buy a newer pre-owned car or truck between December 4th and the 20th and get a trunk full of toys free. Choose from over 1,000 new Ford cars and trucks and over 300 pre-owned cars and trucks. The lowest sale prices south of the North Pole will be clearly marked on the windshield of every vehicle. Don't miss the Christmas on us sale going on now at Bill Curry Ford. Just 3,724 miles south of the North Pole on Dale Mabry. Ho, ho, ho!
High school championship football is here all Christmas Day on Sun Sports. Enjoy all the action from the Class 2B, 4A, 1A, and 6A championship games. The Dodge FHSAA Finals presented by Dick's Sporting Goods starting Tuesday morning at 10 right here on Sun Sports. Gator basketball snaps into focus on FSN Florida. Billy Donovan leads his new generation of future Gator greats in this battle on the hardwood. Owls, Gators, Saturday on FSN Florida.
Welcome back to the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report. St. Thomas right now leads Osceola in the 5A state championship game, 21-13. We're continuing here with the tremendous 100 years all-century Florida high school football team. A moment ago, Larry Little gave me some time. I've pinned down Benny Blades, the former first-round draft choice from the Detroit Lions. Benny, we know about all the awards in the NFL and at the college level with the Hurricanes. Talk about your time in high school. Sunrise Piper. Had to be some special memories coming out of high school.
Oh, it was special memories because I was telling all these guys out here, when you had talent like myself, my brother Brian, Michael Irvin, and you could only win 4 games. But I tell you what, we kept plugging away until, hey, a lot of us made individual accomplishments that will last a long time over at Piper High School. I mean, the thing is, you did everything to make that program work, and I'm just glad to represent, Piper High School.
When you look at, obviously, your accolades, the things you accomplished on the football field, starting at Piper, going to Miami, the Thorpe Award in '87, first-round NFL draft choice, I mean, you must look back and think, man, did I really do all this? It's an incredible resume when you look at it.
I tell you what, I still, from time to time, have to ask myself, you know what I mean? I was really blessed to have parents, first of all, that pushed me to do the things that I did. They never let me and my brother give up on anything we started out to do. And so that started out at Piper, and I'm thoroughly blessed to, you know, for them for pushing us the way they did.
You saw the names on the All-Florida offense, all those receivers. Could you cover them?
Right now I couldn't, but back then, I probably didn't give it, you know, the best I could, you know what I mean? And I probably would stack up with probably the best of them.
Thank you very much, Benny. We certainly appreciate your time. We'll go to break here. Plenty more coming up here as St. Thomas leads Osceola 21-13. Stay where you're at. The All-Florida High School Century football player coming up next here on Sun Sports.
Heat gear when it's hot. Available at Dick's Sporting Goods, your Under Armour headquarters. Cold gear when it's cold. Available at Dick's Sporting Goods, your Under Armour headquarters.
The following is rated SX. Viewer discretion advised. Road and Track says a welcome alternative to all those Civics, Corollas, and Sentras. Motor Trend says Suzuki is hot and has no plans of cooling down. CarAndDriver.com calls it the cure for the common Corolla. The all-new Suzuki SX4 Sport. Now playing at your local Suzuki dealer. It's gonna be a great ride. This holiday, get $1,000 customer cash on all SX4s. Hurry in, ends January 2nd.
The Orlando Magic are on FSN Florida. Dwight Howard leads the Magic as they take on the New York Knicks. Knicks Magic, Wednesday at 7 on FSN Florida.
Bright House Networks Business Solutions helps grow your business online with web hosting, web design tools, internet marketing and e-commerce tools to drive qualified traffic to your website and to increase your online sales. Grow your business with broadband power from a partner you trust. Call today to learn how you can have web hosting free when you subscribe to our Ultimate Internet Access Value Package. Bright House Networks Business Solutions, helping you connect, manage, and grow.
Get your game face on and get your tickets to the Champs Sports Bowl right here in Orlando. On Friday, December 28th, Boston College and ACC Player of the Year Matt Ryan will duke it out against Michigan State and running backs Javon Ringer and Jehu Kalkrick. It's gonna rock. Great value ticket packages are available like Family Zone packs. So bring the kids. Real fans are in the stands. Get your Champs Sports Bowl tickets at Ticketmaster or fcsports.com today.
Basketball snaps into focus on FSN Florida. Billy Donovan leads his new generation of future Gator greats in this battle on the hardwood. Owls, Gators, Saturday on FSN Florida.
Wade Watson, Brady Ackerman back with you upstairs as Terry Norvell joined us on the field. The All-Century team named by the media covering the Florida High School Athletic Association. Emmitt Smith was named the Player of the Century. Escambia High School, Pensacola, Florida. I mean, they weren't Ackerman-esque numbers, but they were pretty good at Escambia up there in Pensacola.
Yeah, they were. He won 2 consecutive state championships early in his career.
Emmitt Smith, who was a stellar player in high school at Florida, and of course went on to become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. He actually videotaped a message for the crowd here in Orlando upon receiving this news. This is what the crowd just saw on the big screens.
First of all, it's truly an honor to be selected to the All-Century team. When you look at all the players, the great players that have come from the state of Florida, and to be named and to be mentioned with all of those guys is truly an honor. I want to thank you guys for thinking of me in that light, but also thank you for selecting me as the player of the century.
Meanwhile, the coach of the century, Bill Castle of Lakeland High School. Let's go downstairs to Terry Norvell.
That's right, Whit. Coach Castle here just awarded with that tremendous honor, Coach. That's some tall cotton. I mean, the other coaches in this state that have put up incredible numbers, you must be very honored.
Oh, gosh, what a tremendous honor. Just to be even mentioned with all the great coaches that were here tonight and all the great coaches throughout the state of Florida. just tremendous, humbling honor.
Coach, 6 state championships, including in their 2 mythical national championships, the incredible winning streak. I mean, I know you got derailed this year for the first time in a long time, but I'm assuming the Dreadnoughts are loading up for another run?
Well, hopefully we got some players next year come back and you know, try to give it a run. But we've been fortunate that we've been blessed with a lot of great athletes and just a lot of tremendous assistant coaches and great community support and great administrative support. It's a lot of things go into winning, and I've just been blessed to have a lot of people surround me that have certainly you know, given us an opportunity to be successful.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. Go visit with your fellow coaches. They're here and they're very proud of you. All right, Whit Brady, we've had a festive halftime here. Take it away. St. Thomas leading Osceola as we're ready for the second half.
Yeah, Terry Lakeland won championships in 86, 96, 99, 04, 05, and 06, all under head coach Bill Castle. Congratulations to him.
Well, I think the biggest change in these football finals when they wouldn't let them bring the ship in anymore. When they used to bring the big ship in from Lakeland and bring it to the football finals inside the stadium, they wouldn't let them do it anymore.
Connor O'Neill calls for a fair catch, and that is where they will start things for St. Thomas Aquinas at about the 37-yard line. Let's check out those keys from earlier tonight.
Keys to the game brought to you by Nike as we revisit them at halftime. Not really any big plays in the passing game. They did have the touchdown pass, but only 53 yards for St. Thomas. Special teams, they wanted to win that. They got the kickoff return early for a touchdown, but they gave up the punt return to kind of negate that.
Third quarter underway, 21-13. St. Thomas Aquinas, white shirts, yellow pants, gold helmets, moving right to left in this quarter. Hardin gets the pitch out across the 25 to the 28-yard line where he's stopped. Let's take a look at the keys for Osceola.
Well, they want to get the ground game going, and I think they've done that. Well on their way to going over 200-plus yards, which is one reason why they're in this football game. But the self-inflicted wounds have offset a terrific rushing night. 2 turnovers, a couple of penalties, and, of course, 1 turnover resulting in 7 points.
Cowboys wearing the blue tops and blue pants with the gold helmets. They will go from left to right in this quarter. 2nd down and 6 for the Raiders. Becker 5 of 10 tonight for 53 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. It's been a steady diet of Jeremiah Hardin for most of the night for the St. Thomas Aquinas offense. Man in motion is Pierre Lewis. Becker with 2 backs next to him. There's a flag. Pierre Lewis catches it in the flat, but there's a flag on the play. He's going to get nowhere, and we'll wait and see what the call might be. Watson among those in on the tackle. Number 6 is Jansen Watson, a junior.
See if one of these running backs got moving early.
Well, Steve Lund changed his mind. Further consultation required for the corps from Daytona Beach, Florida. The A1 Officials Association working the championship game in Class 5A.
There's no penalty on the play.
Oh, that was interesting. So they pick up 5 yards on the play, and you know, this first 5-6 minutes of the second half is so important in setting the tempo. If you're St. Thomas, you go down and score, you're up 2 scores. You put them on their heels. If you're Osceola, get a 3 and out, you get the ball with a chance to go down and maybe tie the game.
Becker's under pressure. They set up a screen to Hardin. He's got a 1st down and more across the 40. Hardin breaks a tackle out near the 50-yard line. Jeremiah Hardin with tough sledding after the catch. He's got a 1st down and moves the chains out to the 50.
Great job by Becker. Ryan Becker, the junior quarterback, hanging in there. He's just going to slip out this side of your screen. Watch him come underneath like he's going to block. Set up the screen, catches it, and then Hardin, he is just dangerous in the open field. Lethal in the open field, and that is a special running back right there for St. Thomas.
1st down as Becker goes back to the shotgun, the short handoff, and nothing much there as Osceola closes the gap. Number 26 is Bernard, who's been receiving some carries here in the 5A championship game.
You get the feeling that both of these defenses have kind of settled down a little bit. You know, you look at the scoreboard and you see 21-13, but you got the 2 special teams touchdowns and then the special teams turnover that resulted in the short field. Both of these teams are going to have trouble driving the ball, I think, 80 yards on the other defense.
2nd and 9 on the 49, under 10 minutes to go in the quarter. And that pass is complete. And there is Difton, who was not much of a target in the first half, but the junior with a catch moves the chains for another first down.
Well, Dwayne Difton's another one of the long line of receivers. I mean, this is receiver high school. You know, you have receiver university or linebacker university or quarterback U. This is receiver U at St. Thomas, and they just keep churning him out. Just a junior. He looks the part, and he certainly can play the part.
Another first down, 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line here in the third quarter, 21-13, St. Thomas, and they are trying to engineer another drive. Becker fakes the handoff. He's going to go deep. Up top, knocked away, and what a play by Momo Thomas. He's a running back, he's a punt returner, he's a defensive back, and a big play there.
Yeah, Momo does a great job once again reading the post route. This time Becker puts air under it, but there you see him going up, making a play on the ball, showing that football IQ, wait until the last minute, and timing it just perfectly for the incompletion.
2nd and 10. Thomas, the defensive back with 1 to the right, 2 to the left. They will go to Bernard, and Bernard picks up 4. Well, you talked about the legacy of St. Thomas Aquinas. Michael Irvin, 1981 to 1984, he played for St. Thomas Aquinas, as did Brian Piccolo, who not only led the NCAA in rushing at Wake Forest in 1964, he was, of course, the teammate of Gale Sayers on the Chicago Bears. You've all seen the movie Brian's Song. Brian Piccolo is the namesake of the home field for St. Thomas Aquinas and a graduate of the school itself.
Pretty amazing history.
3rd and 6. Pass is complete to Kennedy. Kennedy beats his man, gets a first down. Kennedy could go. 10-5 touchdown Aquinas. Ronnie Kennedy with the moves on the left side. 38-yard touchdown, and it's 27-13.
And this is just a simple flat route. Good job by the back.